Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry I am late posting this video, but the last few weeks have been busy given that Thanksgiving was coming and we had to travel to go pick up a vehicle. Anyways, so just a little update on Bowen's training. Pretty much we're just at a point where I'm able to ride, he knows his cues, he's starting to get efficient. And of course, I started doing more with him, especially with trotting and loping. Mostly wanting to also apply brakes on him and establish them to be stronger. He's got pretty good brakes. He listens well. In all my videos, you've seen him in a hackamore. And that was going great for a while, and then I had to start using a bit on him just to have a little bit more leverage. The reason I have to use a bit on him now is because he decided to start bolting when we would lope. Even in the round pen, the first time he ever did it was when we were outside in the back and it was in a larger area, and it got to the point where he actually threw me off. So I decided to start using a bit just to try and see how that goes. It's been going okay. He really, of course, doesn't like the bit. It is just a simple O-ring snaffle. It's nothing major. It's just enough to apply a little bit more pressure or hopefully get him to understand that when I tell him to slow down, he better slow down, versus I'm just going to do what I want, because the last thing I wanted to do was break his nose with the hackamore, because you can do that with the hackamore and I would rather not. So, well, for now we're just using a bit until I'm confident enough that he will stop when I ask him to with a hackamore. Of course, it's all trial and error, so it just comes with time, and we'll get back there again. I know that he will. So pretty much the whole reason why I made this video is just to kind of catch you guys up on his progress. Mostly just showing his trotting. I am, however, going back and forth between riding him properly and not riding him properly, because that way if I have an inexperienced rider ever get on him, he's not going to be unprepared for somebody bouncing a little bit harder in the seat, or maybe being a little bit sloppy, or, you know, just to have him prepared for anything. I do like to do that, and I try to pretty much do 50-50 with that, because I don't want it to all be horrible riding and then mess up my own posture in the end, because sometimes you can just get sloppy without realizing it, or you end up making it a habit, so I try not to do that as well. I do go back and forth between riding him with all tack and bareback and with a hackamore, because I really enjoy riding bareback, so I want him to be able to do both. And I know that most horses can. It's pretty easy, like once they learn in the saddle they can do it bareback, but some horses also just don't like it when you ride bareback. And one thing I've learned with Bowen is Bowen actually hates the saddle, and he does really well when I ride him bareback.
Doesn't it?
But in case something happens, I do like to have the saddle on him, unless I feel like it's a good day and I can ride him bareback and get him into a trot and a lope. So this is the first day that I had him lope outside in the big area in the back, and of course he wanted to run through the bushes rather than stay on the track, but he did really good that day. I didn't have any issues with him. He did what I asked, he slowed down when I asked, and this was just when he was in the hackamore, so I was feeling pretty good at this point, and I was really proud of him. So just pay really close attention to what's about to happen here, because he starts gaining more and more speed, and by the time I get to that pole, that's when he throws me off. Sadly, kind of wish that I had the video of me actually falling off of him just so that you could see exactly what happened, but it wasn't a very good fall. Thankfully, I didn't get too hurt, but I did land face first into like a pile of sand, so at least I had a soft cushion, landing. But after that, took him in the round pen, worked him for a little bit because that was not a good thing for him to do. So these next videos are just me working with him again in the round pen with the bit now, to get him to respect me some more and regain his brakes and establish them a little bit better. That way, if we ever go back out, this hopefully doesn't happen again.
Your horse reminds me of how not pretty the horses are in Puerto Rico. Because because this horse is like handsome. He's not muscular like Amaziah. Amaziah's like a man. This is like a cute boy.
He's a pretty boy.
Yeah. But anyway, both of our horses are good looking. Man, if you saw Fletcher is rough looking because I guess she was abused.
See, he did really good this time when I loped him. He loped pretty quick, almost on cue, and when I asked him to slow down, he came to a stop. But this time, when I did it again, he took off again, and this time he was really bolting, even just in the little round pen, and he was determined to keep going. But after that, I went back to taking it even slower with him. I would just walk him in the round pen for at least 15 minutes, maybe trot him 1 or 2 laps. The next day, I went to walking for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I would trot him for about 5 minutes. So I slowly was working him back into going up in the gates again and slowing back down, reestablishing brakes and really enforcing it, along with establishing more trust and respect in him. I would yield his hindquarters a lot, especially if he decided that when I asked him to stop, if he was, so he would come to a stop and then he would just decide when he wanted to start walking again. Well, when he decided to do that, I would yield his hindquarters either to the right or to the left until he would just stand there while I, or at least do what I say, because I really don't want to mount him and then he start walking, because it only takes me a second to get adjusted in my stirrups sometimes, and I really don't want to have to get on a horse and adjust myself while they're moving. So really establishing keeping him still when I mount, and then when I do ask him to stop after walking or trotting, is keeping him still, or at least in that spot. I don't mind if they readjust their legs or if they're shifting their weight. It's just a matter of if he's trying to walk forward, or when we're walking and he starts trotting on his own, then I have a problem again, and I will yield his hindquarters, or sometimes I'll just make him back up a few steps. And sometimes if he thinks that the right answer is to back up, I'll back him up more, just to re-clarify the cue that I use for backing up. Generally, I lean back in my seat. I do put my feet a little bit forward, and then I lightly pull back on the reins. I really don't like to pull hard on their mouth or on their face in general, so I try to use the least amount of pressure as possible, but I use enough for him to get what I'm asking. So that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment, and I'll try to answer it. That should be all, so thanks.